is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Thursday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez. Here are your headlines on this Thursday, August the 13th. 2 IMPD officers facing multiple charges for their part in a violent arrest that happened during those protests back in May. This morning, we're breaking down the latest information on this developing case.
Many Hoosiers are still in limbo when it comes to unemployment benefits. Working for you, we're getting answers from the Department of Workforce Development on why you may see your benefits.
And the state's moratorium on eviction, it ends tomorrow. This morning, we're hearing from one organization which is stepping up to help families in need. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday. And Lauren, besides us, only the crickets are up. I stepped outside. I've become a cricket whisperer, and I think they're enjoying the cool temperatures for an August day. I think that's what they're telling me.
Yeah, and we had a lot of rain, and so maybe a little wet out there, Rafael. But today's going to be a pretty dry day in the forecast, and so for that, let's check in with Todd.
Yeah, you're right, Rafael. It's very, very comfortable out there this morning, so I think everybody's happy, including the crickets and all the other animals here, as temperatures are in the 60s, and for the most part, the humidity is fairly low, and it's dry out there this morning. We're at 63 right now in Tipton, 69 is the current temperature in Indianapolis, 71 in Bloomington as well as Bedford. Beautiful shot of IMS here this morning. Practice will be good to go here, not only this morning, but later on this afternoon as well, for all the cars getting on the track after yesterday with great weather as well. So a little more in the way cloud cover down to the south this morning. That'll burn off real quick here. You don't really have to worry about that all that much. And then as we expand out, there's nothing really organized out there, nothing that's going to really impact us throughout the day today. So enjoy partly cloudy skies from start to finish. 81 degrees your noon temperature. And then as we continue throughout the afternoon hours, we'll get our high up to 85, a couple degrees above normal. Enjoy the dry conditions today. Some scattered storms return to the forecast tomorrow. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading out on the road. This is to our northwest, I-65 here near State Road 334, the Whitestown area, where you can see traffic is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound. I'm not monitoring any crashes right now around central Indiana, so that's good news if you're heading out the door early on your Thursday. Here at 502 and new from overnight, Metro Police are investigating a shooting on the city's east side. This happened in the 2700 block of East Michigan Street, just off Rural Street. Police tell us they were called to the area about 1:30 this morning on reports of shots fired. When they arrived, they found a male victim. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Right now, there is no suspect information.
And Lauren, also from overnight, a 28-year-old woman is recovering after being shot on the city's west side. Police responded to the area of 3900 block of Eagle Creek Parkway. Now, when they arrived, they found the victim suffering from a gunshot wound. We're told that she may have been shot a few blocks away near Idlewood. If you have any information on this case, you're being asked to call the anonymous tip line, of course, Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
Turning now to the latest in the numbers from the State Health Department on COVID-19. The number of reported coronavirus cases has dropped. On Wednesday, 671 new cases were reported to the state. That's about 200 less than Monday's report. So far, 76,522 people have been diagnosed with the coronavirus in our state. 15 new deaths were also reported, and that means since the pandemic began, more than 2,800 Hoosiers have lost their lives to COVID-19.
It is still unclear if the president's plan to provide extra unemployment benefits will make it to Hoosiers. The funding calls for states to cover about 25% of the costs. The head of the Department of Workforce Development says that a lot of new guidance is still being put together.
So right now, Indiana, just like many other states, all the other states, we're not in a position to give any definitive answers on just how that will look and how it plays out. The one thing that we do know for sure is that this will require us to create a new system yet again.
Commissioner Fred Payne says the department is still working with its federal partners before making any decisions.
Moratoriums on utility disconnections ends Friday. The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission decided to end its order, but the IURC is providing some relief to customers. It ordered utility companies to offer extended payment arrangements of 6 months through October 12th. It also announced that the continued suspension of late fees, deposits, disconnection fees, and reconnection fees will also be through October 12th.
So starting tomorrow, landlords across our state can begin that eviction process. This after the governor, as you may recall, decided that he would not extend the moratorium. So working for you, WRTV learned that some community groups are preparing for that major fallout. Holy Family Shelter expects the need for assistance to grow even more so after the eviction moratorium is lifted tomorrow. The shelter itself is already at capacity.
I think the need for families regarding these services is going to be cataclysmic. The moratorium itself has held off a number of families that otherwise would have become literally homeless on the street.
The shelter is working to place families in extended stay hotels and provide other necessities and resources. Many organizations, churches, and shelters are also stepping up to help negotiate payment plans between families and landlords to prevent evictions. And this week, the Indianapolis City County Council approved an extra $7.5 million in funding for rental assistance just in Marion County alone. For more information on that program, you can go to indyrent.org. If you live anywhere outside of Marion County, go to indyhousingnow.org. The state is adding another $15 million to that program to help people after the moratorium again is lifted tomorrow.
It is 5:06 in Raphael this morning. We know 2 Metro police officers are facing criminal charges in connection to the May protests, and they're set to make their forced court appearance today.
And of course, Lauren, this remains a developing story, and this all comes after a grand jury issued indictments in the case against the officers. Alyssa Donovan is live this morning with all the details. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Raphael. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears announced the indictment yesterday. The 2 officers are facing 6 charges each in this case. Now, what we know is the criminal charges stem from a protest in downtown Indianapolis back in May. 2 women filed a lawsuit against 4 IMPD officers. Video of the arrest of one of the women went viral. The video shows IMPD officers repressing a woman with batons and pepper bullets, while another woman was pushed to the ground before being apprehended. We spoke with one county councilor who says this shows the community that people will be accountable for their actions.
See the system move the way it was supposed to, and in a way that wasn't politicized and wasn't a thing, was refreshing.
The 2 officers facing charges include Officer Jonathan Horlock, who faces 3 battery charges, along with perjury, obstruction of justice, and official misconduct, and Officer Nathaniel Shawwacker, who is facing 4 battery charges and 2 official misconduct charges. IMPD Chief Randall Taylor issued the following statement on the indictments, saying, "I hold great respect for our criminal justice system and have faith that this process will deliver a just outcome. These officers will remain on administrative duty with no police authority while our internal investigation will continue. It is my intention to address our administrative review of the officer conduct at the conclusion of the ongoing criminal prosecution." And again, Taylor says that those 2 officers will be on administrative leave for the following time while they do their own internal investigation. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you so much. This does remain a developing story. So we did receive a statement from the Fraternal Order of Police on these charges. They say in part to RTV6, "We recognize that the grand jury process and the role of the prosecutor in selecting what evidence is presented to them for review. We look forward to a full, fair, and public airing of all the facts and circumstances surrounding the events in question."
It is 5:08, Raphael. Students in Wayne Township, they're back at school, but not all are attending in person. The district has several models to reduce capacity inside its school buildings. But one mother is upset that the Ben Davis University High School does not have an option for her kids to attend fully virtual. Stephanie Hagan says she doesn't feel comfortable sending her two sons, who are high risk, back into the school building. She wants the district to offer a completely virtual option.
My oldest son is a type 1 diabetic. My youngest son has asthma and a chronic cough.
Well, students that attend the school are on track to get their associate's degree through Vincennes University, and the district tells us that a complete virtual program has never been an option.
In order to have an early college program that is geared towards an associate degree, you have to have specifically credentialed staff that are offering a wide array of courses that are specific to those degree tracks. Those courses are not currently available and will not be available at the virtual high school that is geared towards a high school diploma.
The superintendent says there are only 200 kids in the 3-story building at Ben Davis University, which allows them to follow CDC social distancing guidelines. He believes it's one of the safest buildings in that district.
And we are covering more education this morning. Tonight, IPS will host a virtual meeting to get ready for remote learning, which begins on Monday for all of its students. That meeting will be at 5 o'clock tonight. It's going to be done via Zoom. The district, as you know, is investing $16.5 million to provide electronic devices, iPads, and Chromebooks to make sure that all students can learn virtually. Now, time to check your forecast on this Thursday morning. And Todd stepped outside. It is feeling good out there.
Yeah, Raphael, nice and comfortable. You don't say that too often in the middle of August, but temperatures are in the 60s. The humidity levels not super high here this morning, and throughout the day today, it's going to be very seasonable. So as we get you out the door, there's a little bit of cloud cover to the south. It's clearer to the north. Those temperatures again are in the 60s, so not a bad start to our day whatsoever. And you can see the clouds from Bloomington towards Seymour, but the clearer skies to the north. So get out there for a morning walk. You're just fine. Sunrise not until close to 7 o'clock here this morning. Now we expand out and you notice some scattered rain to our south and off to our west. None of that really impacts us throughout the day today. So with a mixture of sun and clouds, high temperatures range anywhere from about 83 to 87 degrees. Our average high is 84. So we're right on par for where we should be this time of year as far as high temperatures go. We'll talk more about your extended forecast and some changes that occur coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. A new warning from the director of the CDC this morning. While he says this fall could be the worst that America has ever seen if you don't mask up. Lauren?
And AMC is ready to reopen its doors to moviegoers. We'll have the details on the new plan to keep you safe while you enjoy movies on the big screen. It is 5:11. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A new warning from the director of the CDC. He says unless everyone wears a mask, this fall could be the worst that America has ever seen.
And Lauren, despite some encouraging trends from across the country this week, researchers say that this fall, in their words, could be a perfect storm. ABC's Andrea Fujii has the latest from Washington.
This morning, nearly half the country seeing deaths on the rise from coronavirus. And though hospitalizations are decreasing, infections are increasing in some of the nation's largest cities. Houston reporting nearly 1,000 virus deaths as Texas schools prepare to start the school year.
The countdown to the first day of school in person is like a ticking time bomb unless we do this right.
County officials say children should not be in class, but the governor says that decision is up to local districts. Just north of San Antonio, this school adding plexiglass barriers and mandatory masks for everyone.
They make me feel safe, but I'm just really excited to go back.
But in Georgia, nearly 1,200 students and staff quarantined after dozens tested positive in Cherokee County, now forcing the closure of 2 high schools. And at the school where these images of students without masks went viral and dozens tested positive, students are now protesting a decision to switch to partial online learning.
We shouldn't be forced to go online because others are fearful.
President Trump Wednesday reiterating his call to reopen classrooms.
So sitting in isolation with a computer, looking at a laptop, is not the same as being out there in the real world.
CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield warning if people don't wear masks, we could see our worst fall ever.
Well, I'm not asking some of America to do it. We all got to do it.
Researchers warn with current virus levels, a fall resurgence threatens parts of the Midwest and East Coast, including New York. After an uptick of cases in one Brooklyn neighborhood, New York City is now working to get all residents there tested. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
Coronavirus relief is in limbo in the nation's capital. Negotiations really have come to a halt on Capitol Hill between all sides. The White House and Congress are still disagreeing on some major funding for reopening schools and launching a national strategy for containing the virus. The House and Senate are also essentially closed at this point for their August recess. They're not expected to return till sometime in September.
Well, with the vaccine still months away, researchers are continuing to look at alternatives to fighting COVID-19. The latest drugs that deliver antibodies are what they're looking at. The medicine would be given through an IV and bring virus antibodies into your immune system. Researchers say this type of treatment could provide virus protection for about a month. They say it could be useful for healthcare workers, people living with someone who has the virus, even teachers. One company already started making this drug, and the FDA says it could be available to the public, quote, very soon.
So AMC has announced a new plan for moviegoers visiting its theaters. Now, this after the chain received some backlash and pushed back its reopening date due to its mask policy. AMC will open the doors to more than 100 theaters now on August the 20th. It plans to have approximately 2/3 of its theaters open no later than September the 3rd. According to the chain's website, theaters will have reduced auditorium capacities, enhanced cleaning procedures, and also increasing social distancing standards. Masks will also be required for employees, guests, and vendors. Now to your forecast, and now playing what we're going to call a nice August day, starting our own Todd Clausen. Please, no autographs while he's working.
Raphael, yeah, it is going to be a nice day, so I'll take some credit when I can get it because it doesn't always last very long, as you know, here in central Indiana. And there are some changes as we go into the forecast as we work our way into the coming days. Outside this morning, though, it is pretty nice, especially in northern locations where the skies are a little clearer. Temperatures are a little bit cooler. 63 in Tipton, 62 in Muncie, Indianapolis 69 degrees as you work your way down towards Bloomington and Bedford. A little more in the way of cloud cover this morning, and as a result, your temperature is just a couple of degrees warmer in the low 70s. But everybody's dealing with fairly comfortable humidity levels out there, and the live look from downtown to the north shows visibility is not an issue here this morning, and those skies, they'll start to brighten up a little bit as we get closer to 7 o'clock. Sunrise officially this morning, not until 6:56. As if you noticed, I'm sure, with sunset tonight at 8:43, our daylight hours are getting shorter and shorter. Temperatures for dew points in the mid-60s, so that's, you'll notice the humidity, but it's not super high, it's not super oppressive, but that's something you'll definitely notice a little bit if you're going to be out and about later on this afternoon, at least compared to this morning as the temperatures start to climb. We hold pretty steady here the next couple hours, then we're up into the mid-70s as we work our way throughout the morning hours, and then mid-80s later on this afternoon for your afternoon highs. Our normal high is 84, so we should be a couple degrees above that for your afternoon high. Satellite radar picture is nice and quiet for us. There's that little bit of cloud cover near Bloomington. As we expand out, there's a few spotty showers here near Paducah, just like yesterday, and some of these may try to sneak along the Ohio River later on this afternoon and this evening. And TrueCast is picking up on that, but the air is pretty dry, so I'm not expecting much of these showers to make their way into central Indiana. But if you live down in the Mitchell area, maybe down in Bedford, you'll have the opportunity maybe of a passing shower later on this evening. But for the most part, the evening hours will be dry here across central Indiana with temperatures falling back down into the 70s. Fast forward to tomorrow. This is TrueCast now starting at 4:30 Friday morning. Most of the area should be partly cloudy as we start the day, but look for some scattered showers to build in as you see throughout the afternoon and evening hours. It's the same deal on Saturday with some scattered storms, but not a washout. A lot of dry hours mixed in as well. And then a beautiful stretch of weather with the passage of a cold front on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Sunny skies, and look at those temperatures below normal, but very, very comfortable, Lauren, as we go into the middle here of August.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. As you're heading out on the roads right now, let's take a look at traffic over on the west side. This is I-70, a view a little west of Lyndhurst Drive. You can see traffic's moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. No crashes on this side of town to slow down your Thursday commute. Raphael.
So Uber is now threatening to shut down its popular ride service in the biggest state in the nation. Just this week, a California judge ordered both Uber and Lyft to treat their California drivers as employees instead of independent contractors, guaranteeing them now benefits. But Uber's CEO says if the judge doesn't reconsider the decision, it would be hard to, quote, switch their model to a full-time employment quickly. The company says it's appealing that decision.
Well, Twitter is now allowing users to trim conversations. The social media giant is testing a new setting that will give people stronger control of their space. Users who now can limit their reply to tweets, including only followers or people who are mentioned in the tweet. Twitter says these new options make some users feel more safe online. The company hopes this will lead to more meaningful conversations on its site.
The Sour Patch Kids celebrating their 35th anniversary with, of course, a brand new store. After the break, a look inside the sweet, sour shop. Lauren?
And Raphael, COVID-19 cases continue to rise across Indiana. Just ahead here at 5:30, what the state is doing now to track those outbreaks. We'll be back with more news at 5:23. Stay with us. Welcome back. A new candy shop in New York City is going to make life a little less sour.
So do you like candy, Lauren? Are you
I
a big
like
candy fan?
Yeah. Not this kind of candy, though.
Okay, well, listen, now you can go wild, or you could buy some for Mr. Casey, right? Here at this kids shop, visitors can get out and about. I know he's not Mr. Casey, but that's okay. He can enjoy these sweets. Have now been reimagined with the Sour Patch flair. I'm gonna get a call here in a moment. I know. Chefs have put their sour but sweet spin on everything from smoothies and ice cream to cookies. You can even create their own candy mix. There are also tons of colorful, limited edition merchandise that we can buy for your birthday, Lauren, next week. The store opening coincides with the reopening from the coronavirus pandemic, as well as the candy's 35th anniversary.
Well, you know,
we're looking at a sweet
right, Raphael.
Well, go ahead.
You're right, because my dad, Mr. Casey, loves Sour Patch Kids.
See?
So you were right.
You saved me.
Yes.
You saved me, because Brooks was about to call me and say, "What the heck are you talking about?" Lauren, we are looking at a sweet forecast today. Todd Clausen saved me.
I'm with Lauren's dad. I love Sour Patch Kids and all gummies for that matter. That's my favorite go-to candy if I have my choice. So I guess Lauren's dad and I are going to make a trip. All right, outside right now we're dealing with quiet conditions across the area. The humidity is fairly low. The temperatures are pretty comfortable across the area. And over the next couple hours, get going on this Thursday morning, we are dealing with temperatures that will be in the 60s through at least 9 a.m. After that point, though, we'll warm quickly with partly cloudy skies to highs that eventually will climb into the mid-80s across the area. About 86 in Indy, 87 today in Bloomington and Columbus. The time is 5:28. We're back in just a couple minutes. Stay with us. We'll see you then.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, 2 IMPD officers facing multiple charges in connection to an arrest caught on camera during protests. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning with the latest on that case.
Data on display. The state promises to provide more information about what's happening in nursing homes across Indiana in relation to COVID-19. What that looks like now, next, right here on Good Morning Indiana.
And here at 5:30, I want to thank you for joining our team on RTV6, starting your Thursday with us. It's going to be a great day. Raphael, you were saying the crickets are already out this morning.
Lauren, good morning to you. I think we got spoiled last week with those nice spring-like temperatures, but Todd Clausen, summer's back.
Yeah, you know, it is, Raphael, but we also have those spring-like temperatures that you enjoyed last week coming back next week. So we're sandwiching in some summer-like days here in the middle of August, and today is just a very typical mid-August day for us with temperatures that are going to be in the 80s and skies that are going to be partly cloudy. What do you need to grab before you go today? We'll grab the sunglasses and also the sunscreen. It's good pool day if the kids aren't in school yet, or maybe after school heading to the pool. You'll be in great shape, but keep in mind the sun's still pretty strong this time of year, so definitely need to have that sunscreen on if you're going to be out for an extended period of time. Outside right now, temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. 71 in Bloomington, 70 in Greenwood, 60 in Marion. So it's cool to the north where the skies are a little bit clearer, and you can see clear skies from Indy to the north. There's a little more in the way of cloud cover down to the south. The storms, though, they remain off to our south and west, should not impact us here throughout the day today. So overall, partly cloudy skies from start to finish. It should be in the low 80s already by the noon hour. So we'll run a little bit warmer by the noon hour than we did yesterday. And as a result, our high temperatures a little bit warmer as well this afternoon. By 3 o'clock, Lauren, we should be up to right around 86 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads on this Thursday. Construction wrapped up here in the downtown area. This is a live look at I-65 and I-70 at the South Split, where all lanes are open and traveling up to speed. No major issues here to slow down your commute. And taking a look around the metro area right now, no crashes to report, so that is great news for your Thursday.
Let's get to the news now. And new overnight, a man in critical condition after a shooting near an East Side motel. This happened around 1:30 in the parking lot near the Rural Inn on East Michigan Street. When Indianapolis police arrived, they found a man in his 50s suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital. Police have not released any suspect information. And then police also investigating this morning a shooting that happened about a half hour later, this on the city's northwest side. This happening on Idlewood Parkway near Eagle Creek and 38th Street. Police say a 28-year-old woman was shot in this incident. The woman was driven about a half-mile north on Eagle Creek Parkway where police were called. We don't know at this time her condition. But if you have any information on any of these shootings, you're being asked to call Crime Stoppers right now. That number is 317-262-TIPS. This morning, more fallout from the May protests in downtown Indianapolis.
A Marion County grand jury finding criminal charges against 2 of the Metro police officers involved in an arrest. Our Alyssa Donovan joins us live this morning with more details. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. And these charges stem from an incident that happened back at the end of May involving 2 women who were arrested during protests. And videos shows that IMPD officers were repressing one woman with batons and pepper bullets while another woman was pushed to the ground before being apprehended. The women filed a lawsuit against the IMPD officers. 2 officers involved in the incident face 6 counts each, including battery and official misconduct. In Wednesday afternoon's press conference, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears stated that the grand jury's decision to indict was based on the evidence presented to them and the law concerning police actions.
And the law's standard is it reasonable under the circumstances? You are to consider the severity of the crime, the threat posed by the individual involved, and whether or not that person was actively resisting at the time the incident occurred.
IMPD Chief Randall Taylor says both officers will remain on administrative duty, and during that time they will have no police authority. The department is also conducting their own internal investigation into the incident. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Now, the attorney representing Westfield and Harding is reacting to the indictment, saying in part, quote, "We are very pleased with the effort, resolve, and diligence shown by Ryan Mears, the prosecutor here in Marion County. He and his staff responded to this matter with the utmost respect and regard, not only for Ms. Westfield and Ms. Harding, but also our community," end quote. It is 5:36. Want to get to the latest on COVID-19 and the impact it's having here on Indiana. So let's take a look at the latest numbers. The State Department of Health confirming 671 new cases of the virus. That's about 200 less than reported on Monday. A total of 76,522 cases have been confirmed since the outbreak began. 15 new deaths were also reported, bringing the death toll to 2,878. More than 866,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus so far.
Lauren, the governor and other state leaders say they'll be releasing more information when it comes to COVID-19 cases in schools and nursing homes as well. The state is now launching a searchable long-term care dashboard. Nursing homes are required to submit their data to the state. The state will then verify the information and add it to that dashboard. The state health commissioner says officials are considering as well a school dashboard. By our count, there are 55 confirmed cases right now at Central Indiana schools alone, and hundreds of students and staff being quarantined. We asked the state why this is not being providing clear guidance for schools as they begin classes.
All of the decisions that we've made with regards to this pandemic have been difficult decisions to make. And that's why our local public health people and the State Department of Health are happy to partner with any superintendents, principals, school administrators, local health departments across the state to help in that decision-making process as we look at all the different metrics of their particular county.
Dr. Box also reiterated that schools will not be COVID-free, but that they need to develop plans to quickly isolate and minimize the spread.
Well, Raphael, Purdue University has begun welcoming their students back to campus, and so far the pre-arrival only of the COVID-19 testing, only 1% have tested positive. The university says of more than 15,000 tests, 133 came back positive for the virus. By the time school starts on August 24th, 40,000 students are expected to be tested. Those who test positive with the virus must self-isolate for 10 days before they come to West Lafayette. Purdue says it is also working on its own dashboard to update the cases on its website. Some bad news, though, for the Butler Bulldog fans this morning. All Big East fall sports have been postponed. That includes men's and women's soccer, cross country, volleyball. And Big East says that it'll be looking to continue fall sports in the spring. Butler's football season was already postponed by its Pioneer Football League. At 5:39, let's get a check of our forecast on this Thursday. Todd, what can we expect as people are heading out the door, even some kids heading to school?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be great for the kids heading off to the bus stop. If you're heading off to work, you're in great shape. And then for all the drivers at the track for practice today at IMS, it's going to be great as well for the crew members. And maybe anybody sitting outside the stands just listening to the cars go around the track. So this forecast applies not only for IMS, but for all of Central Indiana here throughout the day today. As we break it down for you hour by hour, partly cloudy skies here to start. Temperatures in the 70s today through 11 a.m. Then we'll bounce up into the 80s as we get into the afternoon hours. We'll see temperatures climb up to about 86 degrees. That'll be our high today, 2 degrees above the normal high of 84. So it's a warm day, but you don't have any issues if you're thinking about heading out exercising. No alerts for you. Yeah, just drink some water if you're going to be out and about, and when you get done, have plenty of water as well as stay hydrated, because you'll work up a sweat with those temperatures in the 80s. More on the changes and the return of rain to the forecast starting tomorrow in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden and running mate Senator Kamala Harris appearing for the first time together last night. Coming up, their message to voters as they begin a new phase on the road to the White House.
And the Indianapolis Colts honoring the life of offensive line coach Howard Mudd. How many, including Peyton Manning, are remembering the big impact that he had on the whole team? You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday, right here on RTV6. Lauren and I welcome you back to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday. With less than 3 months until Election Day, the presidential campaign is now in full swing.
Former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris coming out swinging at their first event together as running mates. ABC's Inez de la Cotera is in Washington now with the latest.
Senator Kamala Harris officially joining the Democratic ticket and jumping right in.
The case against Donald Trump and Mike Pence is open and shut.
Former Vice President Joe Biden and the California senator appearing for their first time together as running mates, blasting President Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and current economic crisis.
This is what happens when we elect a guy who just isn't up for the job. Our country ends up in tatters.
Harris becoming the first black woman and first Asian American woman on the ticket of a major political party.
You ready to go to work?
Oh my God, I'm so ready to go to work.
And that history-making pick boosting fundraising. The pair helping raise $26 million in 24 hours. President Trump taking notice and hitting right back during an interview with Sinclair Broadcasting.
She is a disaster. She's going to be a disaster, I think, for their party.
But the Trump team is also sending mixed signals, calling the former prosecutor both too soft on crime and too tough.
I don't want someone who says that they are not going to be tough on hardened criminals. She fought to keep inmates locked up in overcrowded prisons.
Biden standing up for his new running mate.
Donald Trump has already started his attacks, calling Kamala, quote, nasty, whining about how she is, quote, mean to his appointees. It's no surprise, because whining is what Donald Trump does best.
And overnight, new details emerging about the Democrats' convention next week. The 13 candidates who ran against Biden in the primary will appear at a virtual event. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
It is 5:46. Some people are returning to work after months of being at home. It's a big change for people, and it's a big change for your pets as well. So veterinarians are warning that it could cause a lot of pets separation anxiety. Many of us have gotten used to a new routine of having humans at home. Other dogs may be more prone to this anxiety if they already suffer from other types of it, like when there's a thunderstorm or loud noises. If you're heading back to work soon, a few things you can do to ease their anxiety is to go away for a little while, practice crate training, and when you do return home, they say try not to make a big deal out of it.
Obviously, a completely natural instinct to greet, our dogs that are just thrilled to see us. We're just as thrilled to see them and pet them and coo over them. But that really makes it this huge highlight when you leave and come back. And so the general recommendation, if you have a dog who's been acting that way, is greet them briefly and then try to let them calm down.
It is important to reward calm behavior. You can also talk to your veterinarian if medication may help.
So, Lauren, here's an interesting study. Countries around the world trying to pinpoint the exact origin of COVID-19. Recently, some researchers have been catching hundreds of bats to do that. You see, scientists in Thailand have been searching caves for the flying mammals. A previous research shows the closest match to coronavirus was in horseshoe bats, which are the most common in southern China. However, Thailand is home to 19 species as well. Researchers collected saliva and blood samples and are now processing those in lab results to see if any of the bats have the virus.
Well, this morning, state health officials are encouraging Hoosiers to protect themselves from mosquitoes. The warning comes as mosquitoes in Marion, Allen, and St. Joseph counties tested positive for West Nile virus. No humans have tested positive for the disease this year. According to the CDC, symptoms for West Nile virus include a high fever, headache, and stiff neck.
Folks out on the East Coast can't seem to catch a break. Have you seen this video? Floodwaters caused this massive sinkhole in Manassas Park, Virginia. You can see the tree fell inside that hole and the cement and dirt crumbling just around it. Officials say around 400 residents are trapped in their neighborhood because that road is the only way in and out. In the flooding, one car was swept away and more were damaged by the water, which rose over 6 inches. Officials say they're working to create a temporary road in and out of that community. And Todd, of course, we saw that the tropical storm Hurricane Isaias had an impact last week on the East Coast, but those folks are not catching a break. Luckily, on our part of the world, it's going to be a nice day.
Yeah, it's a sunny and seasonable day for us here across central Indiana, Raphael. And as we go forward, we will bring some rain back into our forecast starting tomorrow. So today is probably going to be the best weather day of the week because we have no rain in the forecast for you. And the temperatures are actually going to be a little bit above normal. Here's a live look from downtown, rather in Speedway. Got ahead of myself there. A beautiful shot of the track on the front stretch going into turn 1 there this morning. They had a good day yesterday for the first day of practice on the track, and we should be in good shape today as well. 69 degrees, that's the current temperature. The winds are out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. I point that out because that northeasterly wind direction is a drier wind direction, and that is resulting in the humidity being a little bit lower this morning. Those dew points are in the low to mid 60s across the area, and that's why it feels a little more comfortable out there. And those winds, they'll switch a little more southerly this afternoon, so you'll notice the humidity come up a smidge as we do get into the afternoon hours. 71 in Bloomington, where there's a little more in the way of cloud cover. 63 in Peru, 61 in Muncie, and Marion sitting at 60 degrees here this morning. So we have very comfortable temperatures here in northern locations where you can turn off the air condition and just actually open up the window during the course of the morning hours here. And maybe you did that last night before you went to sleep. There's the cloud cover from Bloomington to Seymour to Greensburg. The rest of central Indiana is pretty quiet, but there are some showers and storms off to our south and west. We don't have to worry about these. These are diving down to the south, but there are some showers here once again near Paducah. And a couple of these are going to try to make their way in here to southern Indiana, right along the Ohio River. The question is, how far north do they get throughout the day today? And I think there's an outside chance some locations down towards Mitchell and Lawrence County, over towards Seymour, could have a spot shower, at least a little more in the way of cloud cover this afternoon compared to other locations. But overall, partly cloudy, temperatures in the mid 80s. And here are those little showers trying to sneak in on TrueCast down in some southern locales. Again, not definitely a guarantee, and it's only in those isolated areas. Tomorrow, more in the way of clouds, temperatures up into the 80s, and tomorrow will also bring thunderstorms back into the forecast. They should be pretty spotty in nature during the afternoon hours, and they'll actually back in across the area. Not expecting any severe weather at this point, but nonetheless, you will have the opportunity tomorrow afternoon and evening for a few isolated storms. The same deal on Saturday, partly cloudy skies, but the chance of some scattered storms. And then a great stretch of weather once again by August standards. A cold front comes through on Sunday, puts the temperatures in the 50s for Tuesday and Wednesday morning for almost everybody, with high temperatures and lots of sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday, Lauren, in the upper 70s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now to our west. This is a live look at I-70 near State Road 267. We do have the westbound right lane closed. That's due to a stalled vehicle in the area, so just keep that in mind. Something else to keep in mind, State Road 267, both heading northbound and southbound on that. Trying to get on eastbound I-70, that's closed for construction, a long-term construction project. So just keep that in mind as you're heading out on the roads this Thursday.
The Indianapolis Colts and Colts Nation this morning mourning the loss of a beloved offensive line coach. We're talking about Howard Mudd. Mudd died from injuries that he suffered in a motorcycle accident late last month. He spent 12 seasons as the offensive line coach with Pro Bowlers like Jeff Saturday and Tarek Glenn. In 2019, he returned to the Colts as an offensive coach. Jim Irsay, Peyton Manning, and many others took to Twitter to remember Mudd. Manning said in part in his own words that Howard Mudd was the best offensive line coach in NFL history. He will be missed by many. I know so many like me are grateful to have played for him. The words of Peyton Manning. Howard Mudd was 78 years old. The Pacers have now returned to their winning ways in the bubble. They took on the Houston Rockets late last night without T.J. Warren, who sat out with some soreness. The team made a comeback in the second half and held off the Rockets, with Justin Holiday hitting 2 free throws in the final 10 seconds to seal the win, 108-104. The victory now means that the Pacers and the Miami Heat will face off in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The two play each other tomorrow at 4 in the last regular season matchup of the restart. Playoffs will start either Monday or Tuesday.
Well, scientists have discovered a new dinosaur just after the break. What we know about this prehistoric creature and how it may be related to the T-Rex. It is 5:53. Stick around. We'll be right back.
So a new dinosaur has been discovered in England, and many believe it's related to the mighty T-Rex. The University of Southampton paleontologists spent months studying these bones. They were found last year off of England's south coast. They believe that these bones and this dinosaur lived 115 million years ago. The bones will be on display at a dinosaur museum. From T-Rex to our TK for your Thursday morning forecast. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Raphael, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. A decent day for us today all across the area with skies that are going to be partly cloudy. We're starting off the day with temperatures that are very comfortable. We're in the 60s and 70s, depending on where you live, and now even a few 50s out there up in Kokomo. I just went outside in downtown, and it is beautiful out there. I can see the stars with the clear skies. Mixture of sun and clouds today, a high temperature of 86 degrees. With very nice conditions taken today with the sunshine. Storms return to the forecast tomorrow. More on that coming up in just a little bit when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV6.